walk into the room and suddenly everything shifts. Tension rises, whispers spark, emotions escalate, and you don't even know why. You know them. We all do. They always seem to be in the center of conflict. Whether it's relationships, friendships, or even family dinners, chaos follows them, not because they cause it outright, but because they thrive in it. And when things are calm, they unconsciously stir the waters. They are the drama magnets. But behind this vortex of emotion, there's something deeper. A hidden desperation for significance, for attention, for control through chaos. It's not just annoying. It's a psychological pattern rooted in trauma, ego imbalance, and often unmet emotional needs. In today's episode, we go beyond the surface. We unmask the inner world of the drama magnet, their philosophical roots, the psychological void they're trying to fill, and most importantly, how to protect yourself without becoming a character in their never-ending script. Because sometimes walking away isn't enough. Sometimes we need to understand why the chaos exists, so it stops echoing inside us long after they've left. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates. But what of the life that is only examined through conflict? In ancient Greece, drama was not merely entertainment, it was catharsis, a ritual purging of emotion, a mirror held to the soul. But for the drama magnet, life itself becomes the stage, and every relationship a scene in which they either suffer, save, or sabotage. They are both the victim and the hero, the villain and the chorus. And you're just another actor, dragged into a script you never auditioned for. So the question isn't just, why are they like this? But rather, why do some people need chaos to feel real? Let's begin by looking at an ancient philosophical tension, order versus chaos. In mythology, from the Greek chaos to the Norse Ginnungagap, chaos is not evil, it's raw potential, it's unformed energy, the place before the universe begins. Order brings form, predictability, and meaning, but too much order, and life becomes rigid, lifeless, a cage. The drama magnet unconsciously seeks chaos not to destroy, but to feel vital, to feel seen. In a world where stillness can feel like emptiness, movement, any movement, is a sign that they still matter. Nietzsche once wrote, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering." The drama magnet has taken this to heart, consciously or not. Their life may have once been defined by pain, abandonment, neglect, emotional inconsistency. So now they manufacture drama as a familiar terrain. Better to be overwhelmed than invisible, better to be in conflict than in silence, because silence echoes the void. And that void reminds them of what they don't want to feel: powerlessness, worthlessness, fear of abandonment. So they create emotional noise, storms of intensity, not to harm you, but to protect their inner world from going numb. Carl Jung called it the shadow, the part of ourselves we bury deep beneath our awareness. For the drama magnet, their shadow often contains repressed shame, fear of being ordinary, guilt for past betrayals, longing for unconditional love they never received. Instead of confronting these quietly, they act them out, projecting inner wounds onto outer relationships. Where there is no drama, they feel unseen. Where there is peace, They feel bored, and so they provoke, or collapse, or confess. Whatever it takes to keep the spotlight of emotional relevance shining on them. But this isn't just narcissism, it's a coping strategy, rooted in a philosophy of survival. If I'm not in someone's story, I don't exist. Ironically, by creating chaos, the drama magnet often feels a twisted sense of control. If you're always reacting to them, they set the emotional tone. They become the sun around which everyone else orbits. This is not accidental. It's subconscious philosophy in action. If I can't be loved steadily, I'll be unforgettable through volatility. They may start arguments before events, cry unexpectedly, share secrets that aren't theirs to share, or escalate trivialities into breakdowns. Each time, a message is sent. Look at me. Don't forget me. I still matter. Over time, chaos becomes not just a tool, but an identity. They are the one with the cursed past, the tragic heroine, the misunderstood artist, the lover always left, the child always overlooked, and once that identity forms, they cling to it like a life raft in emotional seas. Because if they let go of the chaos, they might have to face the silence of self. A silence they've never learned how to bear. But here's the tragedy. In creating perpetual drama to feel alive, they burn bridges, they exhaust empathy, they lose connection, the very thing they were desperately seeking. It's a cruel irony. Their need for love manifests in ways that drive love away, and so they fall into a deeper chaos, not the dramatic kind, but the existential one, the kind where they start to wonder, why does everyone leave me? Why am I always in pain? But they rarely look inward, because to do that would require stillness, silence, responsibility. 3 things they've learned to fear more than anything else. So, when you meet a drama magnet, you're not just dealing with a chaotic person, you're witnessing someone in philosophical crisis, someone who uses external conflict to avoid internal collapse, who stages chaos to avoid a deeper confrontation with the self. And unless this loop is broken, they will keep reenacting the same play over and over again. Different audience, same script. They don't want peace. Peace terrifies them more than pain. No one is born addicted to emotional turmoil, but certain environments cultivate the seeds of chaos like a greenhouse for insecurity. Most drama magnets come from high conflict or emotionally inconsistent households. In childhood, they may have experienced caregivers who were warm one moment and cold the next, environments where attention came only during crises, being forced to mediate adult problems too young, learned behaviors of survival, escalation, exaggeration, emotional manipulation. They grew up learning that emotion, relevance, that to be calm is to be invisible, that to be centered is to be forgotten. So they internalize a subconscious rule. If things are calm, something's wrong. I must shake it up or I'll disappear. It's not a conscious decision, it's a survival instinct. It's emotional patterning turned into personality. For a drama magnet, emotional regulation is unfamiliar territory. Peace is uncomfortable. Predictability is suspicious. They often misinterpret neutral tones as hostile, inflate minor issues into catastrophic betrayals, test others by provoking fights to confirm love, self-sabotage when things are going well because it feels too good to be true. They are addicted to the chemical cocktail of chaos. Adrenaline, cortisol, dopamine from emotional resolution. Like someone used to living in storms, the absence of thunder feels like death. Stillness is not comfort. It's a void screaming, "You're not enough." To the outside world, the drama magnet may appear passionate, intense, sensitive, emotionally rich. Too much, yet strangely magnetic. They often attract partners who are rescuers, fixers, or empaths, people who feel drawn to heal them. But beneath the intensity lies a subtle game of emotional chess. Every outburst, every breakdown, every moment of chaos serves a purpose to demand emotional investment. They've learned that if you won't give them attention through peace, they'll get it through panic. Even their breakdowns are strategic, though not always consciously. They collapse so you come closer. They blame so you don't leave. They confess sins so you feel bonded by secrets. It's not always manipulation. It's emotional survival in disguise. The drama magnet doesn't just feel chaos. They become it, because internally they carry unresolved grief, abandonment wounds, unstable self-worth, fear of being emotionally irrelevant. Rather than sit with these wounds, they project them. They accuse others of betrayal because they expect it. They create tension to avoid the slow decay of neglect. They stir drama as a way to feel alive again. If their inner world is always on fire, they'll try to set the outer world ablaze to match it. They don't just experience emotion, they externalize it. Their chaos is not personal, it's pathological. This cycle becomes addictive. 1. Create tension through conflict, crisis, or confession. 2. Crash emotionally, break down, cry, spiral. 3. Crave closeness, receive comfort, attention, validation. 4. Repeat until the people around them burn out. What's tragic is that many drama magnets don't even want the chaos. They long for peace, but don't know how to hold it. So they unconsciously sabotage calm environments because it's too unfamiliar to feel safe. This makes relationships with them exhausting. You love them, you try to help, you give everything, but eventually you'll be pulled into the emotional whirlpool and start to drown. Not all people who struggle with emotional chaos are drama magnets, but certain personality disorders or traits overlap heavily. Borderline personality disorder, BPD, intense fear of abandonment, emotional volatility, histrionic personality disorder, craving of attention, exaggeration, seduction, narcissistic traits, fragile ego hidden beneath dramatic expression, attachment trauma, particularly anxious, preoccupied styles, CPTSD, unprocessed emotional explosions, and dissociation. However, labeling isn't the goal. The goal is understanding. The drama magnet is not evil. They are unregulated, unseen, unhealed. Their drama is a language for a pain they don't yet know how to name. They don't understand what they're doing. Most drama magnets are not calculating manipulators. They're reactive. They feel possessed by their emotions. They don't know where the emotion ends and where they begin. Many will even say, "I didn't mean to overreact. I don't know why I did that. I just felt so much in that moment." And they're telling the truth. To them, the emotions are real, urgent, impossible to contain. They are trapped at their own nervous system. Their heart beats faster than reason can catch up. They are flooded with pain, and you're just standing in the flood path. Their relationships don't last. Eventually, even the most patient partners begin to feel emotionally blackmailed, manipulated, exhausted, confused, guilty for being too calm. And so they leave, which then reinforces the drama magnet's inner belief. People always abandon me. I'm too much to love. This is why I stir things up, because if I don't, I'll be forgotten. They interpret your withdrawal as confirmation of their worst fears, and so the cycle repeats. New person, new story, same storm. But here's the hope. The drama magnet can change, but only when they stop blaming the outside world and begin listening inward. They need to build emotional regulation skills, reprogram attachment beliefs, identify their core wounds, understand the patterns behind their chaos, learn that peace is not emptiness, but freedom. And more importantly, they must learn to tolerate silence, because in silence, truth speaks. And maybe for the first time, they'll hear the voice of a self that doesn't need to perform. The subtle signs you're dealing with a drama magnet. They don't always scream. Sometimes they sigh dramatically. They don't always cry. Sometimes they just go cold and force you to ask, "Did I do something wrong?" The drama magnet often operates through emotional suggestion, not always overt chaos. Here are the patterns to look for. Constant involvement in social conflict. She said this. He betrayed me. They're fake. Every story has a victim, and it's almost always them. Their emotional highs are euphoric, but their lows are catastrophic. You're always walking on eggshells. Small issues become moral crises. You often feel emotionally hijacked, like you've been pulled into a storm you didn't start. They provoke tension, only to later accuse others of drama. You feel guilty for wanting peace. One of the most chilling signs, you start questioning your own emotional reality, because theirs is louder. Living with a drama magnet. Sharing a home with a drama magnet is like living in a beautiful house built on a fault line. It might look peaceful, but every silence feels like the calm before a fight. The days revolve around their moods. You're constantly decoding them. Are they upset again? What did I say this time? Should I bring this up, or will it trigger something? You begin to avoid difficult conversations, downplay your emotions, take on the role of emotional stabilizer, feel more like a therapist than a partner, and eventually your own feelings begin to rot in silence. Because in this relationship, only one person's emotions are allowed to exist at a time. And it's not yours. Loving a drama magnet? At first, it feels intoxicating. They're passionate, spontaneous, emotionally expressive. You feel seen, deeply seen. They'll tell you, "I've never felt this way before. You're different, special, everything I ever needed." But love with a drama magnet is not linear. It's cyclical, always circling back to chaos. Here's how it often plays out. Love bombing. The relationship starts fast, intense, and overwhelming. Cracking. They start feeling insecure, anxious, and reactive. Triggering. They stir drama to test your loyalty. Collapse. They break down or explode. Repair. You comfort them, make up, feel bonded, repeat. You start thinking, this is love. Because the highs are so high, the lows must mean something. But real love doesn't have to hurt this much. Working with a drama magnet. Drama magnets aren't just in our homes. They're in our offices, our teams, even our leadership. In the workplace, they might show up as a colon, the always overwhelmed coworker who complains but never takes action, the gossip hub who thrives on workplace alliances and betrayals, the passive-aggressive communicator, the emotional manipulator who uses breakdowns to avoid accountability, the one who fabricates conflict just to feel significant. They may say things like, "No one appreciates how much I do around here. I can't believe they talked about me behind my back. I guess I'll just do it myself," like always. Work becomes less about productivity and more about managing their feelings. Everyone walks on glass. Meetings feel tense, and morale slowly decays. How they affect friend groups. Drama magnets thrive on triangulation. They pull people into emotional alliances. "You're the only one who understands me. They said horrible things about you, but I defended you." They often stir conflict between others, leak private conversations, create cliques, play victim to gain loyalty, disappear during peace, and re-emerge during conflict. Eventually, their presence fractures friendships because the group becomes about them. All roads lead back to their storm. When you become their hostage, perhaps the most haunting symptom of being close to a drama magnet is realizing that your peace is no longer yours. You feel responsible for their happiness, sacrifice your own emotional needs, apologize for things you didn't do, dread phone calls, texts, or we need to talk moments. Constantly explain yourself to defend against imaginary offenses. You're not in a relationship anymore. You're in an emotional hostage situation, and the ransom is always paid in your silence. The cost of staying too long. If you stay too long in their emotional hurricane, your nervous system becomes wired for chaos. You lose the ability to trust your own calm. You develop complex trauma symptoms. You begin replicating the same drama in other relationships. You fear that peace means you're boring or undeserving. You might even start missing the chaos when it's gone. That's when the trauma has gone deep. You've internalized their rhythm as your own. But chaos is not your birthright. It's not love, and it's not you. A reality check. Many people defend the drama magnet because they mean well, and often they do. They're not always bad people. They're just people with unchecked emotional damage who now damage others in return. Compassion does not require participation. Understanding their wounds doesn't mean you must bleed with them. You can love them from afar. Set boundaries. Offer support without sacrificing yourself. Walk away and still care. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is refuse to be their emotional oxygen. Because maybe when the smoke clears, they'll finally see what their fire has burned. The drama magnet doesn't just want attention, they crave significance. And when peace feels like invisibility, chaos becomes the only way to exist. Every time we're pulled into a drama magnet storm, we're not just witnessing noise. We're witnessing someone screaming into the void of their own forgotten self. But to understand their chaos, we must first understand the void beneath it. Quote number 1. Those who do not have peace within themselves will seek it through others. Lao Tzu. The drama magnet is often not at war with the world, but with the silence inside themselves. When inner stillness feels unbearable, they externalize that war by stirring conflict, drama, tension, or emotional urgency. In their reality, peace is not safe, because peace means they have to face themselves. That's why they avoid solitude, constantly seek reactions, make others feel responsible for their emotions, feel threatened by stable, self-contained people. They mistake stimulation for connection, but stimulation is not intimacy, and noise is not love. Inner chaos seeks outer confirmation, but healing doesn't come from dragging others into your storm. It comes from learning to sit in the silence without setting something on fire. Quote number 2. Beware of those who only feel alive when something's wrong. Some people don't feel real unless they're in pain, and the drama magnet is one of them. They confuse emotional intensity with meaning. They equate turmoil with truth. They believe that love must hurt to be valid. That's why calm relationships feel boring, why healthy friendships feel distant, why they often sabotage peace to feel alive again. They're addicted to adrenaline, not because they want to suffer, but because suffering is all they've ever known. They grew up in homes where conflict was the only form of intimacy, where drama meant attention, where quiet meant abandonment. So now, in adulthood, they recreate what's familiar, even if it's toxic. Because what's familiar always feels safer than what's good for us. Quote number 3. He who cannot govern himself will always seek to govern others. Nietzsche. Drama magnets rarely self-regulate, so they attempt to externally regulate by controlling the emotions of those around them. How? They create emotional urgency. They pull others into their crises. They keep people close through guilt, fear, or chaos. They trigger reactions so they don't have to face their own emptiness. It's not always malicious. Often, it's unconscious. But the effect is the same. You become their emotional regulator. They become the center of your emotional economy. And slowly, your energy, time, and peace revolve around them. They don't just drain you emotionally, they disorient your entire sense of self. Because now, you're not responding to life. You're reacting to their life. Quote number 4. Some people create storms, then get mad when it rains. A tragic irony defines the drama magnet. They create the very pain they fear. They push people away, then cry about abandonment. They stir tension, then lament being misunderstood. They sabotage calm, then mourn their loneliness. They reject help, then blame others for not saving them. They don't just fear abandonment. They provoke it, because deep down, they believe they are destined to be left, and it's better to cause the departure than to be surprised by it. If you expect every connection to collapse, you might as well be the one to break it first. It's a tragic loop, one that turns people who crave closeness into architects of their own isolation. Quote number 5. Don't set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Penny Reed. For those who love a drama magnet, this quote is everything. You might want to help them. You might feel responsible for their storms. You might believe that if you just love them enough, they'll calm down. But emotional martyrdom doesn't heal others. It just erases you. They will not find peace through your sacrifice. They must find it through their own stillness. You can support them without absorbing them, care for them without carrying them, be present without being consumed, because you are not their emotional punching bag, and your nervous system is not their playground. If you've lived with, loved, or been raised by a drama magnet, you may struggle with attracting emotionally intense people, feeling addicted to adrenaline or emotional chaos, sabotaging peace in your own life, confusing drama with passion, over-explaining yourself, walking on emotional eggshells even in safe spaces. But healing is possible. Start by embracing boredom. Peace is not boring, it's sacred. Disentangling from emotional enmeshment. Learning to identify your feelings, separate from theirs. Setting non-negotiable boundaries. Not responding to every emotional fire with urgency. Building a life that doesn't require chaos to feel real. Because life doesn't have to be loud to be meaningful, and love doesn't have to be painful to be true. Final message: unmasking the drama. The drama magnet wears many faces: the martyr, the victim, the reactor, the rescuer, the emotional epicenter. But beneath all these masks is a simple truth: a person terrified of stillness and desperate to be seen. We don't unmask them to shame them. We unmask them to understand them and to stop mistaking their chaos for our responsibility. You are not their storm shelter. You are not their savior. You are your own safe place, and you are allowed, finally, to rest.